Hey, Tony and Corey here, your Par Weekend Warriors, and we're back in the workshop today. We're gonna do a little project.
You're familiar with this, you've seen it before. This is a very cool little collapsible sort of stand. You got a nice 12 by 12 or 14 by 14 tabletop. The cool part about it for you and me, because we camp a lot, is that it's collapsible, makes it very flat, easy to stack on top of something and something on top of it. It carries super simple with this little dowel handle. And honestly, Corey, I think it's gonna be really easy to make. We've never made one.
Yeah, we've never made one, and this one's showing its age a little bit, so let's do it. See how it's put together, and we'll try to do one ourselves.
Welcome to the Weekend Warriors Home Improvement Show, built by Par Lumber. Your Weekend Warriors, Tony and Corey.
There are a few improvements that I want to make to it, Corey, when we do it. I want to change the wood that we're using, go from cedar to something a little bit harder and smoother. This is a S1, S2E, which means it's surfaced on one side and two edges, leaving one rough side. We want to go with something that's S4S. These have got square edges, which is really no good, especially if you're using it as a bench and sitting on it. We're going to make it a little bit wider and a little bit taller. Other than that, it's gonna be basically the same thing. We should probably take a ½ inch plus this ½ inch. We should take an inch off.
So we have brought 1x3s and 1x4s, right?
Correct.
So where these are
Be now 2.5.
2.5 inches wide, because we're not gonna rip. So ours are gonna be 1x3, and then our top's gonna be 1x4.
3.5 inches wide.
3.5 inches wide.
This would be ½ inch wider. These are gonna be ½ inch wider.
All right, cool.
6 1x4 planks at 14 inches. And then we've got 4 1x3 at 13 inches. Top and these two down here.
Oh, okay. These down here.
Yep. And then 4 1x3 at 13 inches. These long legs are currently 19 inches. Instead of 19, 23. And the dowel.
One of the things you'll notice about this build is all of the fasteners are inset. So when you open and close it, they slide by each other. So for that, we're gonna use a Forstner bit. Now we're able to drill a flat bottomed hole that we'll be able to put our bolts through and set below the surface of the wood. So we cut all of these pieces a ½ inch long. So what we're gonna do, because we want them all to be exactly the same, we're just gonna stack them together, put them on the saw all at once, and make one nice cut. So they're all exactly 14 inches.
Clear vertical grain Doug fir, and it was the very best piece I had in the stack.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
These are gonna be our top, and then these are gonna be our bottom.
Hey, you're yelling.
I am? So now we're gonna need 4 1x3s at 13 inches, 4 1x3s at 13.
Isn't that cool? You see that sapwood going down the middle just like that? A little bit different color. It's raw, it's not accentuated. There's gonna be 4 of them. And the long ones are in the middle. Let's figure out where we're gonna make that mark.
So we need to mark the center of where we're gonna drill our hole on each of these ends. And the easiest way to do that is to take a speed square and line this up with the very end of the piece, draw a line, flip it over, do the exact same thing, and intersect the line that you just made, and you'll have the dead center of the middle of this piece. They're just under 3/4. These bolts are an inch, so they're too long.
Hey, before we finish this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and sign up for notifications. We don't want you to miss out on new Weekend Warriors content.
So now it's not gonna ratchet.
Ideally, we would be doing this width.
So how about a longer one?
How are we gonna tighten that?
Yeah, we have a socket set here.
You know, we need to.
I was gonna do a workshop pun, but I couldn't think of any words that would work. Wow, that was super slow on the uptake.
And we need one in the middle. Man, that smells so good.
Now in the middle.
Ideally, a drill press would be a better tool for this, but this is all we've got. And it seems to be working fine. Only one side, correct? We need to make sure that it's opposite.
The same goes with the inside one. Okay. Getting somewhere.
All right, so we got all of our pieces cut that we're gonna assemble. We've got all of our holes drilled and our pockets drilled for our nuts and bolts. We wanna take this over and ease the corners and nip the edges off just like they did there. One of the things about this table is they're not all the same. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut all of these at once. We measured our angles here, so I'm gonna take it over the saw and cut that right now.
One and 5/16.
Down.
Center to center. 1 and 5/16 center to center.
Inch and 5/16?
1 and 5/16.
I'm gonna take the sander, I'm gonna clean up some of the edges. These all need an angle cut on them.
Okay. Those first two pieces are going to be the outside most pieces. These pieces are going to be the inside pieces. And there's one long and one short. The short ones get the dowel, but the dowel is literally last. The dowel goes in when the top goes on.
Correct. practically ready to assemble, right? This goes to the outside, this goes to the inside. That's how we should have.
That's correct. That's one side.
So we have our two sides
Not, yeah, we have our two left side.
together like that. I want to make sure that our dowel hole is to the inside. This goes together like that. So we're going to put our top. We want to be
Half an inch, right?
½ inch relief in.
Half an inch on the outside, half an inch on the bottom. Yep.
Should we mark it?
Is 1 5/8 too long? You can screw into these top deals because they're screwing down into the edge.
I want a ½ inch overhang all the way around, so I'm just marking a ½ inch. So when we screw it down, we have the same relief.
We could take a nail set and put a little putty on there if we wanted to, but it is a camping table
Yeah.
after all. Those nails are galvanized.
I'm using the speed square here to make sure my piece of wood is perfectly straight, lined up against my legs.
Just by the hair on your chin. We must use screws. Is that 14 inches or what? Money.
We got all of our pieces cut, we've got our legs assembled. So now all we have to do is fasten our tabletop, which is these pieces here.
Yeah.
So we've got our 1x4s cut at exactly 14 inches. All right, Tony, we got all of our pieces cut and we have both of our leg assemblies assembled. Now what we need to do is fasten the 1x4s to the top. And we're gonna do that by screwing them down to the outermost pieces.
And this is going to determine the length of the dowel, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're gonna hang these off ½ an inch on each side and a ½ an inch on the end. And you've made marks,
Yes,
and we're gonna fasten. But we're only gonna fasten one side
correct.
because we have to cut and install the dowel.
Yeah, we gotta determine the length of our dowel, install it in there, and then nail on the other side.
Got it.
Or screw on the other side. So I'm gonna put this on here, just like
Just like this,
so.
just like this.
And I'm going to get my ½ inch overhang. And then I'm gonna use our speed square here to ensure
That it's square
That
with,
it's-
with the piece that you're, yeah.
correct. Pretty good right about there.
I'm gonna try to help you hold it still.
So we're gonna pre-drill this.
Into
This
the
is-
outermost support,
Correct.
the 12 incher. We're using Torx Drive Guard Dogs by Fasten Master. This is just shy of 7 1/8. It's 7 1/8 minus. Okay?
So let's cut that. You wanna cut that?
I do. It's like a piece of paper. Feel that. I mean, that is some thin stuff. You see my mark right there. And there's a little laser on here, which we can set the laser right on the mark. And then when we make the cut, it will be right where we want it to be. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna bring this down. I'm gonna see that that mark is just to the outside of my blade. I'm not taking the mark, I'm leaving the mark, but I'm pushing the blade right up tight against it. That's how I get the most exact cut. See that little bit of mark left right there? That's awesome.
All right, you wanna hold that for me?
I do.
Some weight on it.
We'll have to get the other side together and then put the bottoms on. You know what I noticed about this, Corey? The bottom pieces down here, see these down here? I think they have, besides keeping these from getting too, from spreading apart or whatever, you know what their other responsibility is? They keep those from passing by each other. All right, the dowel is in place. First side fastened. Side number 2, half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch.
Here.
This side, Corey, is getting fastened to the inside short piece. Your screws are gonna be in here. Really?
See, this is actually, that's where I need to be.
Not over there. Screws are going over here. And that one went in, your bit was like tiniest little bit, and then when you did this one, it was the tiniest little bit below. Just like so close. They doubled down on you. So we need to get these legs to be parallel with the surface that they're sitting on. So we gotta get a straight cut here and here. Show me how you're gonna do that, Corey.
Just gonna take a couple pieces of wood here. I'm gonna make sure I'm above this point, just like that.
Super genius.
And that's where we're gonna cut them. So since we've got this thing all assembled, we're gonna use our jigsaw to cut these lines. I think it'll be pretty good. Let's see.
So it's notable. Ideally, we would be using like a nylon lock nut. They weren't available to us when we went for them, and we decided to just go with these nuts for the build. We'll be changing these out with lock nuts, like a nylon lock nut. Because once you tighten it down to a certain point on the bolt, it just won't undo itself. Yeah, now we just gotta put our our bottoms.
Some of the nuts and bolts are should go like this.
Yeah, I don't see how it would make a difference.
So these pieces here on our prototype, or the one that Tony's father-in-law built many years ago, stick out quite a ways. And so we did the same thing. We made them the same width as the top, but they really don't need to be. So we're gonna cut them back so when it's closed, it just covers outside to outside, so it's not sticking out any further. So these ones,
At least on one side. One side to the inside, one side to the other. This is the inside, you're right.
Yeah.
I see it here now. Not that it's something we want to do beforehand, but
now I'm just gonna clean up all the edges. Version 2.0. Yeah, that's fantastic.
we have finished this project. And as with every project, in true Weekend Warrior fashion, it wasn't perfect. It didn't turn out exactly as we imagined. We're gonna probably have to go back and do a couple of things in order to make it what we want it to be.
Yeah, this was our first go around, our very first try. This thing works really good.
In hindsight, we would have drilled our countersinks for our bolts, and we would have used a drill press. It would have allowed us to be more accurate, had them all in the same spot, pointing in the same direction. As it is, they're a little wonky and just not perfect.
When you close it up, it's not bad, but you can really see, because of the differences of where we punched the through holes through, it just doesn't make it perfect.
Now we can go back with a sander. We can even this out and make it be exactly what we want it to be. It just takes a little extra work.
Sure.
While we were building it, we actually had some of the nuts just rattled right off because we didn't use Loctite, we didn't use lock nut, and we had originally set out to get lock nuts, but we didn't find them. So we'll go back, replace those nuts with lock nuts, which will keep those from becoming loose.
Yeah. Ideally, what we'll get are nylock nuts. It's a nut that has a strip of nylon in it. So when you tighten it to that certain point that you want it, it won't move. But the nice part about that is you can leave them slightly loose so that you can still open and close this.
All in all though, the overall project is good. We went with a little harder wood, a little smoother, and we made it a little taller, made it a little bit wider and a little bit deeper. Otherwise it's about the exact same thing, and I love this. It's very usable.
Yeah, I think we should put a coat of stain on it. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had as much fun watching as we did making this thing.
You go for some wings right now.
Thank you so much for watching. Please check out our social channels right here.
Our podcast channels here, or tune into the Weekend Warriors radio show every weekend across the Pacific Northwest.
This has been another episode of your Par Weekend Warriors.
We'll see you next time.